Hello, we are here today to talk about lead service line replacement for safe drinking water for communities. What I've got here before us is an ArcGIS hub site that is used to help organize this approach for replacing lead service lines. In this case, we say catch the clean water vibe, and that vibe, V-I-B-E, stands for verify, inform, build, and educate. And that's how we're going to go about replacing our lead service lines with this particular example. I'm using what's called ArcGIS Hub. I'm also going to show some ArcGIS maps and apps here. First one we're going to get into here is the lead service line editor. And I've got a GIS layer of water. They're points, they're representing water service lines. And as you can see, I've got a utility side and a customer side. As we know, on each side of the curb stop, there can be different types of materials, and that's why I've got the two colors represented for each point here. So in my first example, what I want to do here is I'm going to select a subdivision, okay, as I click on that, and what I can do is edit all of those points within that subdivision, and I can specify that these are non-lead. And I know that based on the age of the subdivision and when lead service lines were allowed. So I can mark all of those 340 points in bulk to say these are not lead service lines. So that's going to help me kickstart my replacement program. The first thing we're doing here is updating our inventory or developing our inventory if we don't already have that. So next what I'm going to do is, let's say I've got an area here in a subdivision that needs updating. And I need to add in some subdivision information there. I can click over here in my editor box and I can actually draw in, I'm going to sketch in a subdivision for that area. And then I'm going to double click. And what I can do is put in the subdivision name. We'll say Heritage. And I can say that that is, yes, it's Village Owned, and I can say that it was built in 1980. Actually, we'll say 1990, and I can save that, and then I have that subdivision available to me to select, and then of course I can update all of those points within that subdivision very easily, very quickly. I can say these are non-lead. The customer side I could leave as unknown. The replacement I could say needs replacement, and I could save those. So once I save those, you can see the icons are updated. It's very easy to update those in bulk, or I could actually update these individually if I wanted to, just by selecting and updating those individually. So if I just show you that, we can do one individually and update that information as well. Okay. So next what I'd like to do is take a look at a real example of a tap card. So this is a situation where it says what the material type was. I've got 1-inch lead and 3/4 inch galvanized, and it's 5605 Lawn Drive is the address. So as I come back to my map here, I can search for 5605 Lawn Drive, and it'll zoom right into that particular location, and I see my parcel information. In this case, I want to update those attributes because I know what those attributes consist of. So as I start and do my editing for this particular point, I can update and say the utility material I know is going to be lead, and I know it's 1 inch, and I know the install date was 10/1/1972. And then I know it's, yes, it's been verified, and I can say my source is existing records, and utility is in fact lead. And on my customer side, I know that that's galvanized, so I can select that. It's 3/4 inch, and I know the install date of that was 10/1/1972. And then I can say, yes, it's been verified, and the customer status, if I go look at the status, I'm going to say is non-lead. It's galvanized though, and it requires replacement. So I could say needs replacement because we have a lead situation on our hands with this particular service line. Okay, reason for replacement is lead, and I have not notified the customer yet, and I can click save there. So now what I want to do is one more thing. If I select that point, I want to be able to attach my tap card. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to attach the tap card that we just looked at. Now that tap card, when I attach that, you're going to see it show up here. Now I have that. I can easily pull up and reference that tap card along with it. Okay, so next I'm going to look at my what I call a dashboard. So let's take a look at our dashboard here. My dashboard shows me information on my lead service lines, like how many have been replaced. And I'm actually going to refresh this, and we might see some of these numbers update. And what I've got here is the ability to look down and quickly tell I've got 629 that don't need replaced. I've replaced 5, and I need to replace 94 more. So it's a way to easily check my status. I've also got inventory numbers here that show me how many are lead and how many are non-lead. Okay, so now if I go look at the replacement manager, let's say I've got a foreman or superintendent who is in charge of replacing all the lead service lines. That's what this particular application is for. So again, we can search by address, we can zoom into that location, and then we can see that this does need replaced. Okay, and so if I want to update that, I can update this particular record and say it needs replaced, and I can say I have a replacement date. It's going to be the end of 22, and I'm going to replace that coming up, so it is scheduled. Okay, but then the beauty of it is, let's say I want to do a whole neighborhood, and I'm going to get really, I'm feeling very motivated, and I can do all of these. I can select them in bulk, and I'm going to double click, and I select all of those points, and I can say needs replacement, and I can schedule the replacement. Let's say these we're going to do August 1st this year. The reason for replacement we'll say is other in this case. Okay, so now I can see those points are all updated that need to be replaced. And let's say I just finished a bunch of work over here last week, and I'm going to select these points because these I just updated and replaced, and they have been replaced, and they were replaced for lead. And I can save that, and if I have an actual, I want to update these that I have on my schedule. Let's say I'm going to do all these at the same time, and these are actually scheduled for replacement. And let's just make them all on August of 22, and I can say replace for lead. I save those, and we'll see those are scheduled for replacement, and they show up in yellow. So really handy features here to be able to update what's there. Now if I go back to my dashboard and we do a refresh, we're going to see that our dashboard has taken into account everything that needs to be done there. And I've got a total of 9 that I've replaced so far. I've actually got 7 that are scheduled. So very valuable information to help us track which lines have been replaced and which ones we need to go. Moving back to our hub site, again, I can see my numbers are updated here. If I do, I've got the map here that shows service lines, and I can view those. My inventory updates, and everything's been up to speed there. Again, I could put public information on here to help keep folks informed of what the status is on our particular project. So thanks for watching today, and don't hesitate to reach out to us for more information on how to use GIS for your lead service line replacement program.